recording?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, like and share, folks. Loads to chat about tonight, as there is always. Let me just get this liked and shared. Hopefully I'm up here somewhere. There we go. Nice one. Let's just share that now. Right, get this shared, get the boring bits out of the way, and then we can crack on with the show. Share to a page. Come on, mate. That doesn't make it easy for me. Share to a page. Share. You have to do it about 4 or 5 times. It's ridiculous. There must be a quicker way. Come on, Facebook. There must be a way I can tap on all these things together and get this done in a wanna. Get on with my show. Anyway, we're building an audience, so that's the most important bit here. Is that we're getting people in, we're bringing them in so they can listen to what's going on. Okay, there's a few stories in the news today. In fact, it's gone army-tastic this week, isn't it? What with the recruitment video, and then there's a few bits and pieces. And the front pages have been dominated with a couple of stories, which we'll be looking to a little bit later today. Let's get these likes and shares, let's get this shared, let's get out there, and let's have a good chat about what is really going on out there today. Okay, I'm going to mention, first of all, I'm going to mention SOFREP, because I like to mention SOFREP because they do a good job. So what they've been talking about today, Russian intensive shooting, seeing is believing, all right? There's a Russian thing on here. I'm very sceptical about shooting without using sights, but I can't argue that it can be done. Sight alignment can be accomplished without actually seeing the sights. There's a piece on there about Russian instinctive type shooting. As you know, I do condone instinctive shooting. I do believe that, at close quarters, and especially in room combat, you haven't got time to be breathing properly and bringing your sights onto bear. You've got to be just bringing the weapon up, ding, ding, and off you go. Okay, so have a look at that. That's interesting. US SDF lead Kurdish border guards. Okay, obviously there's still a lot going on in these places. There's still a lot happening in Kurdistan and that. So have a butchers at SOFREP, because they'll tell you exactly what's happening through the eyes of the operators, of people who've been there, seen it and done it. So SOFREP, have a look on there. Read some of these pieces. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, you're getting it hot off the press from the people that know what they're on about. There's some kit pieces on here today. Some primary arms sites being looked at. Always worth knowing, especially if you're a private military contractor and you might be in a position where you're going to be buying gear and all that sort of stuff. Come and have a look at what the SOFREP boys are saying, because they get all the latest gear, they get all the clobber, and they have got an idea. So they got all the gear and an idea of what they're doing with it for a change. All right, so some decent stuff on there. Brandon was on there today with the power of thought. Okay, so obviously Brandon, he's got some good stuff to say. Worth watching what he's got to say. It really is. Okay, and that's what I'm going to cover from SOFREP today. Okay, a couple of stories that hit the headlines today, which make me a little bit upset. But I think there are solutions to what's going on up there. Okay, so the Lee Rigby, where that hideous thing happened, there's sort of like an unofficial, they call it, an unofficial memorial, where people go, they lay flowers, they put wreaths up, they put flags up, and rightly so, because it was a horrific thing to happen, and people want to show their respect for what happened, and they should be allowed to do that. That should not be an issue. But apparently, residents have been complaining that it looks shoddy, it looks untidy, it's unsightly, I think were the words that were used by the council, and they've removed all this stuff. Now, the council have tried to sort of like back up by saying, well, we've boxed it all up, we'll give it to the parents, all that sort of... It's not the point, all right? Now, how do we resolve this? Now, I do know, people go, oh no, let's go down, all that sort of stuff. Right, that's fine. I do like to see people, turning out on the streets for this sort of stuff. But in this particular case, I think that it could be resolved by campaigning for a proper memorial to be put on that site where it was. You can imagine, that is the way. That's the way to do stuff. Put an official thing there, an official plaque at least. Okay. And then, people can go and pay their respects and all that sort of stuff. And they ain't got to worry about people ripping flags up, vandalising it and all that sort of stuff. Put something there that's a proper reminder of what happened and a respectful piece to Lee and his family. Because that family has been through, like all London, that family has been through a lot, okay? And it keeps getting brought up all the time, and it's always derogatory. And it's getting on my nerves a little bit because, to be quite fair, you should be allowed to put flags anywhere you like. Can you imagine if, like, you know, you get these things on the side of the road when people have been run over and all that sort of stuff, and their families, and rightly so, go and put flowers and football shirts and all the rest of it. Can you imagine if you just randomly turned up and started pulling it all down? The outcry there would be. Why is there no respect left in this today's society from these councils and people placed in positions of authority, which doesn't let them have the fucking savvy to let people fucking mourn and grieve over people and show the fucking proper respect that they should do? It's beyond belief, that is. So the Lee Rigby memorial thing, like I say, I strongly believe that something should be erected that is official, if they're unhappy with the unofficial stuff, but that people should still be allowed to put their flags there and all that sort of stuff. Because, you know, some people don't come into London every day of the week. Some people will probably only come into London once in a lifetime even, okay? Now, if that's the only opportunity they've got to visit that site and pay their respects, you should be allowed to leave a flag there any time you like. It shouldn't be something to go, oh, okay, grieving's over, move on. It ain't like that. It ain't like that, okay? People should be allowed to come and grieve whenever they like, okay? And like I say, when people don't get that opportunity, or it's, you know, it's an expensive thing to come in from town. And I know loads of people that would probably like to go and pay their respects in some way, okay? But they simply can't either afford it or they don't get into town. So if I come into town in 3 or 4 years' time and I want to put a couple of flags up there, I should be allowed to. It's just beggars belief. It's just another dig. It's just another shot over the bows. It's just another softening blow from these people in positions of power who don't understand what the real people feel and want. Okay, so a little bit of a rant about that because it's just unnecessary. Unnecessary again. Why are you doing that? Why are you just messing people around and causing hurt and all the rest of it? It's beyond me. Okay, so that's that dealt with. That's that put to bed for me for now. Okay, but I will be watching the progress of how that materialises. I'm going to go and put down a flag myself. That's what I feel like doing. I feel like going and putting one of my own flags down there, to be honest. Just repeatedly putting it up every time they take it down. If I had the time of day to do that, I probably would, because it's just beyond me why they would do that. Okay. The other big story in the newspapers today then was about a former member of the same regiment that I served in, which was 22 Ex-SAS, Bob Curry. Now, Bob's, I don't know the full story. I've spoken to a few people that do know him today. Bob's in a bit of a pickle. He's in a bit of a predicament. I think now that they are resolving his issues. I will keep you posted on that story. But again, it's another, and I don't want to just keep going on about Bob, because I know Bob is not the only person in that predicament. Although Bob has managed to bring this to the fore, like, because, you know, the regiment obviously attracts press and all that sort of stuff. There are a lot of other people out there, and for me, I think we should be concentrating on everybody who's homeless and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I seriously have heard that Bob is being sorted out properly. Okay, I hope that's true, and I'll keep people posted as and when I hear what's going on. But all these other people that are in the same sort of predicament, it's just, how have we ever got into a situation where we don't look after our troops in a time when they're screaming out about trying to recruit people in the army? What chance have you got getting someone to join the army when at the end of it they think, well, I might be abandoned when I've actually finished my job, or, you know, in 20 years, 30 years time when I'm of no use to them anymore, they might just abandon me. So I think a little bit of duty of care, a little bit of aftercare from the armed forces, you know, a little bit of time spent properly in resettlement and all that sort of stuff. And there's some people out there doing some tremendous jobs as well, so I'm not going to knock them either. There's some tremendous charities out there, the Buchanan Trust and all that, who are helping, okay, and they are helping to do it. But I'd like to see a lot more backing. I'd like to see a lot more people involved. And it's one of the things I hope to do this year is highlight, you know, where we can help, where we can push things, and where we can get, you know, other people involved, and hopefully, you know, highlight this a little bit to the people up top. Okay, because Bob Curry's story, Bob Curry is one of quite a few people that are in that same predicament, okay? And like I say, hopefully it will be resolved. And the fact that it's been brought to the attention, okay, it needs taking further than that now. It needs to say, no, it's not just, that's not an isolated case, it's here, and here, okay? Because there are people out there that, you know, we probably don't even know about at the moment, do you know what I mean? And a lot of guys are too proud to go, I was serving and all that sort of stuff, all right? So, and to be fair, rightly so as well. But like I say, when I look at this homeless thing and I look at the how things happen, it really is a case of there before the grace of God go I, because it can happen to anybody at any time, right? And you look at some of these cases and you think, well, you know, your relationship went tits for whatever reason with your missus. She's asked you to move out. You've hit the bottle of it, and before you know it, you're on the bones of your ass. You've got no money. You can't pay your bills. You can't get employment. Blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, you're in that fucking predicament. And like I say, it needs to be identified, and these people need to be helped, okay? Because, like I say, with Bob's a decent geezer, all right? And I would imagine most of the people, or nearly all, 99.999% of the people in that predicament, if not 100% of the people in that predicament, are decent people. And so we need to help them. We need to get amongst it. We need to highlight where the problems are, and we need to help out. So I know there's a lot of stuff in the news. I know there's a lot of people. See, on the plus side of things as well, for me, and something that doesn't come out, there are ex-squaddies that actually, believe it or not, do extremely well. All right, I know guys who are CEOs of companies, guys who've got tremendous jobs and all that sort of stuff. So that sort of stuff should be promoted as well. And let's start thinking about everybody and trying to get everybody up to scratch, right? So we'll talk about that in a sec. I'll take questions and all that sort of stuff on that particular subject. I know Trevor Coult's been on the case and doing all sorts of stuff with that, so that's good to see. Trevor's doing some stuff. I was going to talk about the new political party that but I'll go more with that. That's a subject for next week when I've done my homework a little bit more on that. But Trevor is involved in and actually a spokesman for the new political party which has been formed, which is a veterans type thing, but it's open to everybody. And it was quite clever actually. I'll give you a little bit of background now. They were explaining to me about veterans, and obviously people say, well, that will only attract veterans. Well, there's more than just army veterans. There's veterans of the police service, the fire service. There's ambulance men who are veterans. There's veterans of all sorts of any trade you've been in. Once you finish, you become a veteran of that trade. So it's opened the gate to everybody. But we'll go more into detail on that next week. That's quite an interesting thing. And who knows, I might even get Trevor on board and get him over here if he comes into London, or I could possibly go to him and I'll get him on here chatting, and we'll see where we go with that. Because I'd like to get Trevor in here and we can have a good chat about that, because it's interesting. And in a day when we need voices and we need people to stand up and act on behalf of our veterans and our people who've served the country, that's exactly what that is lining up to do. So we'll have a look at that. We'll have a butcher's there. So we've looked at that. Like I say, I shall keep you abreast of what's happening with that situation as best I can. Okay, today I went and picked up a parcel, which was quite exciting. And in that parcel, I had a book, right? Now, this book has been written by a friend of mine who served in the regiment. I'm not going to tell you what his name is right now. I'm not going to tell you what the book's called right now. But trust me, when it says on the cover, move aside Andy McNabb and Chris Ryan, I think they'll be bothered when they see the book, because it's gleaming. It's a gleaming book. It's a cracking account of albeit it's a fiction, but it's a cracking account. Okay, it's a cracking account, and if when you read between the lines and you read the book, and I've started reading the first paragraph today, and I just continued through 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay, you can actually see, you think to yourself, fucking hell, this bloke knows what he's on. So when it comes to actually seeing an operator's perspective through the eyes of a book, I'm going to show you that book next week. He doesn't want me to do it now. He doesn't want me to get into this book today, but I am going to tell you next week. There's something special coming to the book world, I'm telling you. It really is. And I wouldn't say it, because he's competition for fucking me as well, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? I've got a couple of books out there. He's competition for me. This book really is fucking cracking, I'll tell you. It's a great book. So we'll have a butcher's at that next week. Okay, let's have a look, see what questions we got coming in tonight. No Wendy still. She's not here. She's abandoned me. She's run off. No, she's working really hard with the grandkids. And that is work as well. 6 grandkids, imagine that. They've all got flu, and one's always on the toilet. Unbelievable. Exceptionally political, especially a political party. Hayfield from Hot Bath in Wincoln. Darren Fuller, good evening. Gary May. We're all just numbers to the pen pushers. Gary, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, there is an element of that. But with the long-term, bigger picture in mind, remember the 3 R's I said yesterday, the recruitment, the retention, and the resettlement of troops. If they don't get the resettlement right, it has an impact right back at the beginning with the recruitment. Okay? Now, everything said about that advert side, I did actually visit the careers office today, and I spoke to a few people down there, and it does actually look, although they've got this civilian company in there doing things, which isn't great, you do actually still get to see someone who's serving. And I spoke to a lad from Free Para today who was actually behind the desk, and that was interesting to see that actually, you can go in there and speak to someone who knows what he's doing. It's just that the rest of the process is let down by this civilian sort of like system where I've been looking online at the stuff, and it just doesn't work. It crashes every 5 minutes. It looks like it's overloaded. It looks stressed. Look, Just go back to the old way of going in with a platoon sergeant, sitting down with somebody who knows what he's on about, filling the forms in by fucking hand, filing them fucking properly, and getting people in the army. Concentrate on all the good stuff. Because, yeah, you're right. Anyway, where am I going with this? Alison Jane Furman's watching. Good evening, Alison. I think Wendy will be in touch next week, and we'll see if we can't get ourselves down to Hereford. Deborah Holmes, should kids be singing the national anthem in schools? My mum was saying they did when she was in school, way back when. I seem to remember. I mean, I know the words to the national anthem, and I did sing it in school. I think without doubt you sang it in school. That's where I would have learnt it from. Should they sing it in schools? I think you should sing it in schools. I don't see any problem with singing it in schools. I don't see why that would cause any controversy or upset anybody. You know, everybody here is here under the one flag, aren't they? You know, so I don't see any drama there. Sadly enough, when I was at Sandhurst a few months back, I was actually sat behind a young lady who could be no more than 16, 17 years old, who, when we sang the national anthem, actually didn't have a fucking clue what it was even, let alone it was the fucking national anthem. Yeah, she just stood there with her mouth like, oh, what? Do you know what I mean? So I was pretty shocked at that, because she didn't know the words at all, and it was quite plain to see that she didn't even really know what the song was. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty shocking. It comes down to this national identity thing all the time, you know, and I'm proud of those colours. I'm extremely proud of those colours that are sat there behind me, okay? And I want to be a part of a country that stands up and is proud, all right? There's nothing wrong with that, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. So, you know, ridiculous, again. Neil Weiner, when as a country learn that we should look after our veterans and pensioners first before we offer aid? You're right, Neil. We should be looking after our own first. You know, what sort of message does it send out when there's you know, splashed all over the front newspaper, you know, homeless veteran, homeless this, you know, damaged guy? It's just no good. They should be looked after. Now, I do know, and people are going to say, but I do know there's so many people out there doing lots of great stuff. And like I say, you know, I know guys, you know, Matt H, you know, who comes with me on the Rumble, you know, Rob, they're working tirelessly with this stuff. They really are doing their best. And there's a lot of people out there, and I thank those people from the bottom of my heart for doing what they do. When will the powers that be jump on the same chord and actually give them some official support? Do you know what I mean? I know, you know, there are you know, elements of the royal family which help out at this level, that level, and the other level. Okay, but when will they get the proper backing they need? When will they get proper government level backing, saying, right, okay, this is what happens, this is the score, this is what we need to spend. Right, we're not going to send that money over there. Let's bring that money back and let's pump it in over there where it can do some real... And let's actually send the message out to young people that want to join the army that, yeah, you'll be looked after when you're in, but you'll be looked after when you finish as well. That's the sort of message that needs to come across. That's how to make an advertising campaign, not waste £1.6 million on an advert that tells us what we already know. We know we embrace everybody. We know that we'll insect anybody into the ranks. But what we want is to know that when we come out the other end, we're looked after. All right, so let's start getting stuff right. Martin Allen, most only sing the short version of the anthem. I've got to be honest, I can't properly fully remember the third verse. But you're right, no, most people only sing the first verse. You're right. Are you going to do any more documentaries from war zone conflict areas? Says Jay Madison. I hope so. I'm actually working with Sky now. I'm going to be one of the panel members on the pledge, and I think my first show on the pledge is on the 1st of February. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking for a subject to cover with Sky. I threw open, we were looking into the possibilities of doing something in Russia, but that fell through due to the Russian authorities actually stepping up to the plate and squashing a few things that we were looking at. So that never came off. So we're looking. Hopefully I'll get something somewhere along the line. Why not play the national anthem at the end of the show? Start a resurgence, and it was. Do you know what? Do you remember? I remember certainly in Northern Ireland when you used to go to all the nightclubs and that. At the end, 12 o'clock came, last orders, bang, you'd have half hour to drink up, and then before they booted everybody out, the lights would go on, everybody stood up, and up went the drum roll, and everybody sang the national anthem, and you went home. And that's how it was. You know, even it used to be the last thing at night on the television, didn't it? I know television runs 24 hours a day now, so it's probably not as practical. But, you know, before they put that holding screen on, they played the national anthem. And I remember my mum, you know, I remember my mum sort of like turning off after the national anthem. She'd listen to it all the way through and then turn the television off. One of those things, and that's one of those little things they've nibbled away at. They've nibbled away at, and now it's sort of like disappeared. And you can understand now how difficult it is, even though the majority of the country have voted to go back to this. They voted Brexit. They voted they don't want to be in the EU anymore. There's still these people out there dragging their feet and stalling and not getting the job done and scaremongering with this, that and the other. The economy's doing fine. Everybody's doing fine. They're not doing any worse or better than they did. So it ain't made a difference really, has it? It's just scaremongering everybody, dragging their feet. And, although, like I said, I've met Tony Blair and spoke to him on a number of levels about different stuff, he's being a twat with this again. All right, he really is being a twat, with the stuff that he's saying on this particular thing. He's a fool, and so that's been annoying me as well. So Tony, if you're watching, you're being a twat. Pack it in. I remember the national anthem, says Stephen Kelly, being played to the close of BBC at the cinema when I was in the BOR as a child. Yeah, the cinemas used to everything. I mean, just about anything that you did. The only thing that retains it really now is sport. That's the only time you really see the national anthem is at sport. I was ripped off when I went to the Army Careers Office. The sergeant told me that the only vacancies they had were bandsmen or infantry in his regiment. Mate, it did used to be like that, didn't it? Because I was recruited by he was in the Coldstream, no, not the Coldstream Guards, the Grenadier Guards. And I remember him sat there telling me, no, he was trying to talk me to go into the Guards. And I desperately, although, I just didn't want to be a Guardsman. I never ever had that wanting me to stand outside of a palace. I know they do tremendous soldiering and they're great soldiers and all the rest of it. I never had that in me that I wanted to go and stand outside the palace and wear a great big fuzzy thing on my head. I didn't, full respect to the Guards, and I do love them as a unit and all that sort of stuff. But I never wanted personally to do that sort of work. I never thought it would be that much fun standing outside Buck Palace. So that turned me off straight away. And he was adamant he wanted to talk me in, but like I say, so the recruiting sergeants did try to tend to get you into the regiment that they were from. Do you know what I mean? And that's stop. Gordon Pitchford. Need to lend your balls to May so that we can tell you to ram it. I'd love to have 10 minutes with May just to talk about how I see things, because I do think I see things the way that so many other people see things. It's not, it's not rocket science, is it? You know what I mean? And there's so many things that we get wrong that are so simple that they just can't see it in the ivory tower for some reason. I haven't got a clue why not. Tony Blair is a slime ball, says Deborah Holmes. Hope he gets hit by a trillion gold. Yeah, he like I say, I spoke to him a few years ago. In fact, like a long time ago, before even all the war stuff, to be honest. And I met up with him in Israel through a friend of mine who was working with him, and basically, I spoke to him about Sierra Leone, not Barras, where he'd obviously signed off. He was the one who actually said, right, off you go and do the job. So, I shook his hand on behalf of that and that only. There's a lot of stuff I would not shake that man's hand on, and a lot of stuff that he should actually be standing up and being counted for, as far as I was concerned. So, yeah, and he's got a lot of stuff wrong. And he's still, for whatever reason, instrumental in a lot of the shit that goes on and a lot of the stuff that's subversive to a lot of the stuff that I believe in. So, yeah, nose a tip. How about Bob Curry? Says Stephen Cox. We covered Bob earlier on in the show. But just to recap, I will, as I hear stuff, if I think his situation is being resolved in H, certainly his rent's being paid at the moment. I would imagine he'll be housed at some stage, and if I find out, it'll be a happy ending, I'm sure. All right. Jason Field, I recall going to the pictures. Yep. Catherine Stevenson, check out Don Shipley Seal, retired Extreme Sea Adventures project for the US service personnel. Matt Usher's watching. Good evening, Matt. Tim Kelly, thanks for getting rid of the wonky sign. The wonky sign? Which was the wonky sign? You want to have my shop sign, are you bastard? Tim Kelly, yep, Wendy Deadall. We are all human and all make mistakes. You're right, Wendy. You're right. You do make mistakes, Everybody makes mistakes. And that's why, in my life, I've always been prepared to give people, chances. You've got to give people chances. You can't get it right all the time. Nobody's perfect. It's the way it is, isn't it? God, I should know. I've made enough mistakes myself. Jesus. Thoughts on the Malvinas, Phil? Well, the very fucking fact that you're calling it the Malvinas can shove it up your arse, mate. It's the Falkland Islands and always will be, as far as I'm concerned. So that's that one sorted. Scott James. My mistakes are trees, Wendy. Yes, Scott, you do walk into trees. Drew Cunningham, you sort that channel out? Uploading the streams? No, I haven't, mate. No, I've got some software. I downloaded a thing called OBS the other day. I'm trying to work out how to use it and how to get the soft-rep stuff onto there so that I can put a border around the screen that you see and a few things buzzing along the bottom and all that sort of stuff. And then I'll be able to, once I've got that sorted, I'll be able to cut stuff in and make a better show of it. But if anyone's got any ideas on that, please message me, because I'm trying to self-teach at the moment. It's a bit of a pain. I haven't seen the picture of Diane Abbott on Carillion. Bob Bryan. Rob Paxman's watching. Evening, Rob. How are you? You back from the States yet, mate? How was your trip out there? In your last backdrop, the details of the shop were wonky. They were wonky, but because it was a wonky scene, wasn't it? Come on, give me some more questions. I'm down to Diane Abbott here. I want to talk about her. Got no interest in her whatsoever. Bernie Powell. Yeah, we're all good with making mistakes. Just got to learn from them. It's, you know, fool me once, fool on you, fool me twice, fool me. Do you know what I mean? That sort of stuff. You should definitely learn from your mistakes, and you should also be able to pull positives from your mistakes as well, because that's how you move forward. Leslie Burgess, I keep losing the sound. Phil, bring back Wendy. Oh, she'll be back next week. I'll be back to full staff levels next week. Me and Wendy. David Hounsford's watching. Good evening, David. Let's go back up to the top, see if I missed any questions right at the beginning. Oh, I've got your pen pushing bit. Can I get heard? Can I get my head around this Calais thing? How to find out so much money is spent to deal with a French one? Kev, I was going to cover that today. Now, I did read somewhere, I put a tweet about it earlier, that we're giving the French, I think it was something like 400 grand, I don't know, it was a big figure, and we're giving it to the French for some reason. What the fuck are we giving the French money for? Just please somebody enlighten me and tell me why we're giving French money. No. And it's been promised to them over this Brexit deal. No, they should be giving us money if anything. Jesus, absolutely no, you're not having our money. That's what I'm saying about wasting money, innit? Well, we'll just give the French. No, we won't give the French fuck all. That annoys me, that does. Yeah. Well done, Kev. That was right at the beginning of the show. Mike Mackey, homeless can happen to anyone. I've been in the army, owned my own business, took ill health. You're right, Mike, it can happen to anyone. And your stuff's turned up, so that'll be getting sent down to me here soon. And I'll be showcasing your stuff. But keep putting your link up, mate. £1 a bag, remember, or it's £1 towards a bag, which costs about £17. But the more we can make, the price of the bag comes down. The more veterans we can help, the more homeless people we can help. Full stop. Okay, so there we go. There's more questions coming in at the bottom now. What do you think about Carillion going bust, and how will it affect military accommodation, as you have seen how shit it is already, said Dave Walsh. Dave, it's another kick in the face, and all this stuff, all these civilian companies not producing what they're saying they're doing, but yet they're willing to take on these massive contracts where their CEOs get extremely fat and rich overnight. Do you know what I mean? It's all bollocks. You can imagine there must have been all sorts of kickbacks going all over the place for these people to win these contracts in the first place. And I bet that will never come to light. Do you know what I mean? You know how it works, though. Everyone knows it works. You know, it's more than a bottle of whiskey being passed around to win these fucking contracts, isn't it? We know that, don't we? The fact that they've gone bust, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of the complete story, but it just shows that, you know, they've put all their eggs in one basket again with this one particular company. Do you know what I mean? It's just shocking, the amount of wasted money. You know, you can't just bring in another company now to take over from Carillion. No, there's no one can sort that mess out straight away, is there? Shocking. We'll cover that one. We'll have a butchers at that next week as well. But you're right, it's a fucking mess. It is another mess. And it's another clown show. At the time where our armed forces are just getting beat down left, right and centre. We haven't got enough troops to fill Wembley Stadium. We're God knows how many undermanned. And on the periphery, we've got all this extremity bullshit, which is overtaking and overshadowing the real fucking issues. It's just getting on my nerves. Jason Field. Jobs for the boys and backhanders. It's exactly what it is. It's not even jobs for our boys, is it? Jobs for whoever these fucking bent bastards are. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely backhanders going down the range. There must be backhanders going down the range. Don't tell me there ain't, because there is. The Quillian firm is part of the CI's Amy prison transfers. The whole thing's farcical, you know. The whole thing's. I'd love to know who sanctioned all this stuff, and then have a proper trace back and have a look at what they've been up to. Because, I'm telling you, it's kickback central. There must be. And I bet they're not sat in council accommodation, and I bet they're not fucking on the bones of their arse with a broken fucking Range Rover. Do you know what I mean? I bet they've got nice, comfy, plush houses with fucking cars and their children in public schools and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, you know that school, don't you? We pay these folks big money to waste taxpayers' money. All these government departments. You're right. You're right. Born Fearless should take over the Carillion mess, says Bernie Guggen. Do you know what, mate? I wouldn't even pretend to know where to fucking start with it. It's such a fucking mess. One mess, one tracer, NBC drills, says Darren Fuller. Right, okay. Well, I miss one in one tracer and NBC drills, says Darren Fuller. And damn right and all. Well done. Shall I bang some metal objects together? And I'll give you some... Wait there, I'll give you a bit of gas. There you go. Gas. There you go. You do your gas. Sorted. That's a bit of NBC drill for you anyway. All right. Don't get scared, Grace. It's just a bit of NBC drill going on in here, all right? A bit of NBC, all right? Don't worry about it. See, there you go. Gas. See, everybody's now trying to don their bloody respirators and what have you. All Sodexo meat is now halal. What a load of shit. I disagree with that as well. Not your point. Why the fuck should I be fed halal meat? But I don't want halal meat. Do you know what I mean? I don't profess to like the way they kill the animals and all that sort of stuff. It's just, you know, they've campaigned for years so that things are killed as humanely as possible. And now they go, well, it's all right to just slit its throat, hang it upside down, let it kick out. No. Sorry,
that's exactly how they kill them
in the doula. Well, whatever. Anyway, Grace is a vegan, so that's touched another nerves with Grace tonight.
I know my shit, mate.
But no, I don't like the halal thing at all. So, no, you're right.
Don't make a difference to me.
If those individuals need halal meat, then that has to be provided for them. As if somebody's a vegan, then their vegan food's got to be provided for them, and that's the way it is nowadays. I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but to force everybody... Imagine if they said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do then. We won't have meat anymore. We'll just make everybody into vegans, because that's one thing that everybody can eat vegan food. Whether you're like, no, I'm not having that. So it's just insensitive again, isn't it? It's insensitive to me as a non-halal eating person. Do you know what I mean? Where's my rights? Why have you trampled on my beliefs and traditions again? Do you know what I mean? Doesn't seem right, does it? You're right. Martin Allen had his NBC jacket on looking like a dingle. Catherine Stevenson, nearly the takeaway shops, most supermarkets allow. It is going that way, isn't it? It's going that way. You know, more and more meat is being advertised as halal. I mean, I live in East London, mate, so, you know, I don't think, you know, I think the nearest butcher, there is a butcher around here that's not halal, but he costs a fortune. I use him. Simple as. Just pay a bit more, don't you? Tail wagging the dog again, says Stephen Entwistle. Chris Lee, a lot of supermarkets are sneaking it in now, Tesco and Asda. They have a halal section in all these supermarkets, and if that's what required, if that's what these people eat and that's what they have to have, that's fine. But don't be forcing it on me. I don't want it. Do you know what I mean? KFC's in London are halal, says Wendy. Yeah, they are. I don't, you know, it's not something that I don't have to halal meat. It's not me. Do you know what I mean? It's not my problem. I don't stop anybody else having it who wants that. That's up to there. That's their thing. That's what they do. But stop forcing all this stuff on me, because I don't want it forced on me either. Because isn't that surely wrong? Isn't that you now bearing down on me? Do you know what I mean? When you've been accusing us of bearing down on you, is that right? Yeah. See. Anyway, we're going down a sticky, horrible path there, aren't we? Piers Morgan is bang on with his wife of the ISIS soldier. Is trying to persuade. He's right. There you go, says Darren. Catherine is calling out for Andrew. Andrew, come here. Come on. Come here. Come sit down. Come sit down. Come sit down. Come sit down. How on then? How on then? I don't give a fuck if it's halal. I'll eat it. There you go. I told you. He don't care. New Special Forces exhibition coming to the National Army Museum. Opens on the 17th of March 2018. Well, there you go. I can't wait for that. That'll be fun, won't it? What do you reckon, Andrew? Fucking brilliant. Fucking awesome. Chris Lee says, he's laughing at you. Chris Lee's laughing at you, Andrew. Fuck off. What? Oh, God. Really? Breach of our human rights. It's a breach of my human rights. I should be able to eat what I want. And I'm not being allowed to eat what I want. Other way round, could be an international incident. It would be an international incident, wouldn't it, if I refused them what they wanted? Anyway, I'm not going down that road. Andrew sounds in need. I'm in need of some more dinner. All he does is eat, isn't it? That's all you do, isn't it?
He's had dinner.
I've had dinner. It was all right. Stick with the pork and bacon. Oh, you won't stop me eating pork and bacon. I love a bacon sandwich. So do I. You love any sandwich? I fucking do. You do, don't you? Fucking right. Jesus. I've never heard a dog swear before, says Scott Marshall. You haven't fucking lived, you cunt. That's enough now. Fuck you. Oi! I'll put you down again. Fuck off. Oi!
Leave it alone.
Right. That's but we keep swearing.
No.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Alison loves Andrew. You'll become the Hereford, won't you? Fucking right. The swearing, it's not needed, alright? I'll get told off for it. Okay, I'll screw it up. Fuck, will I? Oi, stop it. Bacon, food of the gods. Okay, my NBC is too hot and itchy. We'll take it off now. Right, okay. Where are we? Scott Marshall. You're a leg end. You're a leg end, Andrew. Yeah, fucking right I am. Okay, right. You can go down. Say goodbye. You are? Yeah, it's time, guys. About that, yeah. We've run over tonight. Right, okay. There goes the dog. Tomorrow, what day is it today?
Thursday.
It's Thursday already. Jeez, this week has gone quick, isn't it? Right, so tomorrow's pre-drinks with Phil. I'll probably still be here. I might be somewhere else. I really don't know, okay? But please watch. Please stay tuned. Please come and see us again tomorrow night. I'm sure there'll be a bit more to talk about. There'll be loads more to talk about. I haven't got to look forward to tomorrow because I really haven't decided what we're going to do. Anyone got anything they want me to do in particular, please get in touch with me. You know how to. On @BigPhilCampion on either Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. Or you can write to SoftRep and they'll tell you. Don't forget SoftRep TV, SoftRep Radio, and don't forget to get on there and have a butchers at some of these blogs, because some of these blogs really are decent that are being kicked out by SoftRep, okay? So, there you go. Don't forget. Clock in a sock. That's what I pulled it out because I haven't done so for a while. Grace is getting itchy now because she wants me to turn the camera off. Okay, Thanks for watching. And until tomorrow, who dares wins.